recording on this computer. So that is now recording. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are in our 7-day free trial group, then please make sure that you go through the, hello Darren, go through the units. Hi Kathy, hi everyone. Go through the units in our 7-day free trial unit. If you've just joined us, then please make sure that you go through the units in our Ninja Forex Traders group, which is here. Let me just briefly show you. And you will find in the units a very good introductory video which gives you an agenda where to find everything, so I won't go through that in detail. And also please look on the home page for our announcements for watch lists for the trades from the live traders that we do every day. So there's up to 8 hours every day. And once you've joined, then please make sure that you go into the units in im.center, particularly if I show you here the FRX series 1 and 2. It's taken me out at the moment. Just show you on here. And how's everyone doing today? Is anybody in any trades or anything at the moment? Anything going on? Just look in here and you'll see units 100, 200, 300 and 400. Particularly go through units 1 and 200. Just click on there and then go down here. They're very short 5-minute videos, most of them, so well worth doing. So let's have a look now at the scanner. So for this you want to go into strategies, which gives us all the products that we use. I use the Harmonic Scanner here. We also use Vibrator for our 2 key strategies, Be Your Own Bank, BYOB, and also 25 to Life, which I use off the Harmonics. So let's look at the Harmonics today. Now you can use any of these traders here on the right. I tend to start with the Trader's Way here, which is the main feed for the Harmonic Scanner, and use the H1, the hourly time frame setup. And I'll just put it onto my local time zone here. So I did have a brief look this morning, but there wasn't anything new. You can see this one has headed up past stop loss. These are the most recent ones at the top. They do drop off the bottom at the end. So you need to put them onto your trading view if you want to keep them. This one also has now headed south, lots of wicks, so it's headed up again. So there's nothing new there. And on the M15, I did see that there was a Euro USD. Now this is a shark, which means shark's bite. We wait for entry point 2 or for it to have hit take profit 1. So I thought I would draw this one on when I came on with you because it is over 200. It's about 171, yeah, about 200 pips. 171, that's a pipette on the end to the right of the decimal point. So if you want the pips, you just take the first 3. So make sure that it is on your local time zone at the bottom, and go to each point and write down the times, and then we're just going to copy and paste it over. So this is Euro USD on the M15 because you need to put it on the same time frame. And if you've got any charts or any pairs you're looking at that you want me to go through, that we want to discuss together, then just unmute yourself and let me know and we can have a look at those. B, we've got 13th of the 4th at 16:45. You can see it's written 2020-04-13 because obviously it's American system, so they put the month first, so I always turn it around the other way. And then the C point, if you look at the bottom, is 14th of the 4th at 23:15. and D. Now you can draw up the harmonic for your 25 to life. You can just use this. I like to copy everything across because I keep the scans that I draw, most of them anyway. So that was about the only one that I saw. This one's obviously completed its run up and has now come down. So as I say, there wasn't anything new. There's the Euro USD on the 4 hourly, GCAD 4 hourly there. Let's just measure that one because I only do a minimum of 80 pips. 372. I don't normally do 4 hourly. And that has come down now to take profit 1. So I might just make a note of this one. We'll see how we get on. So it's a sell scan for GCAD on the H4 hourly time frame. 31st of the 3rd at 1500. The thing about copying them across is you do need to make sure that they're accurate, accurately put onto your trading view, particularly if, like me, you use pitchforks, otherwise they become invalid over time. What appears to be only like a couple of pips out when you put them on can rapidly over time go off to 50, 60 pips out, and therefore that's the 12th of the 4th, they'll be untradeable at 23. And that last one, B point, is the 15th of the 4th at 1500. And I haven't been onto the H4 for a long time, because obviously the longer the time frame, the longer it takes. It's more suitable for swing traders. And I like to use small stop losses and smaller time frames. There's that one there. So nothing. There's that GCAD on the hourly. Oh, it is on the hourly. Sorry. Just see how that. Let me just see how that varies. X at 1600. A at 64th. So it's just out by an hour. Midnight. B at 12. C at, that's the same, 23. And D, 15th of the 4th at 18. Oh, that moved. That's moved. That D point's moved. Let me just check the scan, because the bigger the scan, the more robust they are. So we'll have a look at those. So let's go over to, I'd like to do GCAD first of all. Now, we have had some news today, President Trump speaking this morning. I haven't got anything else today, so we always make a note of red flag news, and we don't trade that pair an hour either side, give the market time to settle down, and also time for the market to settle down on a Monday as well. Let me just look at GCAD first. And if you've got anything that you want to ask, or anything about indicators or pairs you're looking at or trades, please do. Or you can leave it till the end. Let's have a look. Put this on the hourly. Some of them I had marked up from this morning going through the pairs. This is scans that I was using up until now. So how do I put this one on then? 31st at 15. Oh, I think I've got this one then. The 15th at 1800. Yeah, this one's still okay. It's moved slightly, so I'll just go down and 31st of March. So it won't go back. TradingView will only let you go back 2 weeks on the time frame. So you have to go to the next one, which is the 5 minutes. If it's older than 2 weeks, you won't be able to get back to that point. You just check these points. So that one's fine. The D, you take it to the nearest high or low on the lowest time frame that you can. So the 1 minute preferably, because obviously you're going to have a different number of candles according to the time frame you're in. So if you're looking on the hourly, you've only got one candle, one hourly candle. And if you're right down on the 1 minute, then there are 60 candles. So I do this because of the precision on the entry when I'm getting into a trade. That's what helps me mostly stay with a smaller stop loss, except for GBP pairs, which can be wilder. Just find this one. There it is. So that one's fine. That is on point. I've just locked it on there. You can see with the padlock, because sometimes in the past I found it was slipping and sliding and glitching. I was moving lines I didn't want to move. So now I tend to put that on the padlock as well, not just the magnet. That C point's okay. That's the, as you can see, that's obviously the lowest there. And I think all these will be okay. The B points, that's still fine. Right, so sometimes I check back and make sure it hasn't glitched. If it's an older scan, just check to see that the price has respected various lines of support and resistance. And the X point. So you see it's now not giving me a time date stamp at the bottom because it's further back than 2 weeks. So now at this point, if you have drawn your scans onto the TradingView, you'll need to go to the 5 minutes, and there it is there looking a little bit off. So I'm going to move that onto there because that is the highest point, even though I'm back on the 5 minutes. So that will do. I'm going to put it back on there. And the pink is just the shape for your scan, and I usually like to put it on. But it's for me, I'm using pitchforks, which are basically trend lines at an angle, and I like to put a pitchfork on. So we'll come back instead of drawing lines of support and resistance. So we'll come back to the hourly and then see what price is doing on GBPCAD at the moment. And you can see it's, I'll put it on the 15 minute. I did have this marked up for coming down to this area here. So it's worked its way down. Now, quarter theory, these orange dotted lines are basically lines of support and resistance at every 50 pips equally. Every line is equal. There isn't a line that takes precedence over another. And I use those instead of drawing lines of support and resistance. So if I come down to the 1 minute, let's just see how it's respected that and whether we've got something here. So let's see where we are. So off the D point, it came down and it just missed the retest of that pitchfork by 7 pips there. So that isn't really a break and a retest, which is normally what I would like to see before I get into a trade. Then this is the 1 minute momentum, the orange line. And when it crosses over the blue, which is showing me the 1 minute trend as it would appear on the 15-minute time frame, then I know the current momentum is down, and sure enough, price is selling. And then it sucks back to the 62. Price will always suck back to the moving average. So down again, consolidation, tests the 15-minute, breaks above. Can't see why my quarter theory is turned off. Just give it a moment to load. Oh, it's not coming back on. Should come back on in a minute. Let's try it on the 5-minute. See if that puts it back on. There we are. So you can see that price has dropped back down, respect to quarter theory, comes back down to the pitchfork here, which is support and resistance, plus it meets quarter theory and it breaks below. So very nice little sell down there. And then see how it respects quarter theory all the way along, come back up, and now it's on its way down. So I'm looking at it for this area here where it's going to cross. So it's a sell scan, and for me to get into a trade I need 3 confirmations. So I'm going to come back to the 1 minute. Oh good, quarter theory stayed on. So what I'm looking for, I don't take a trade off quarter theory unless it's a very, very big scan, because for the best chance of success, particularly in these markets, you need bigger stop losses. You sometimes have to re-enter, and I like it off a pitchfork, which is an aggressive line of support and resistance. So I'm looking at this area here, and I've set an alert because I want it to in fact, I think what I'll do is take that one off now, and I'm going to draw it at an angle here. So this will be on the watch list. And I do all my lines in the same color. So trend lines for me are green, and then I put alert lines in pale blue, so then I don't get muddled up. So just go to settings, change to blue, and I'm on the 1 minute chart. So when that hits that, the alert's going to come off, and then I'm going to come back and look at this. Now, as you can see, there's a wedge here. So I would not want to get into this until it's broken quarter theory, because these are the next levels that price is coming down to. So actually our entry is going to be round about here on that 1.75000, but only after it's, now it doesn't always do this, but what I like to see price do is a break and a retest, a break and a retest, and then down to the next level. So I'm looking for a break and a retest of 10 pips here, which is that there, and then when it comes back up to meet it there, then I would get into the trade. Now sometimes, as you know, price will just crash straight through, nothing you can do about that, and it moves quite fast. And if it comes, you know, if it comes down here and I'm too late for the entry, then I won't get in, because sometimes these days you have to go just for the 10 pips and get out, as we know. So I'll put a horizontal line here at about 10, that's going to be 10 pips. And once I'm in the trade, then I would set an alert on there and put here to remind me stop profit in there. And then I also, because I just like to work visually, so you can go over to your trading platform. So it'd be about, you just want about a pip or so here, because once price comes down, I'm looking for it to break and reject that pitchfork. I don't know how many pips, it's in a price trap there anyway, so you wouldn't want to get into it while it's in that cheese wedge price trap area, because it will struggle in there and then it'll have to burst out one way or the other. So it's a downward scan, it's got downward momentum. That 62 is now crossing down, so, and it looks like it's coming down. So if it comes down and does that, then does that, I've then got 3 confirmations for the trade, with the 62 hopefully crossing the 15 minutes, showing downward momentum, a break and a retest, although ideally of the pitchfork I like it of 10 pips, and then 10 pips of quarter theory. So something along those lines with the average there, but get back in on the retest, not just when it comes down here, otherwise you're going to go into drawdown as it comes back up. That's what it should do anyway, but as we know, sometimes price just breaks through. So I'm going to write that down for the watch list. So we've got, and remember GCAD is a fast moving pair, so you want your stop loss, you want your quarter theory and your pitchfork, or your line of support and resistance, between you and where it could possibly take you out of the trade. Then you know you've got 2 barriers to try and keep you safe. So we'd have a stop loss of around, and remember I'm on the lower time frame, so you'll need to adjust these if you are on a higher time frame and expecting to swing it. An entry of 1.75000 underneath, and then a take profit, first take profit of 1.74802. But in this market, depending on what it's doing, because you can see there's a line of support and resistance there, I might cash out at 10 pips, because you have to alter the rules in this market, and we've altered the rules on this strategy to say take profit at 10 pips because it's so volatile with a lot of wicks. Otherwise your next take profit is going to be down at 1.74500, and then down to this level here of 1.74000, and then you can see the pitchfork down there. So if we come back to our scanner here, and let's have a look at the scanner suggestions, because the scanner gives us a nice trade if we just want to take it off the scanner on the hourly. So you'd be on an hourly time frame for this, and you'll notice I was on the minute. So that had a stop loss, if I'm going to write this down, stop loss of 1.78164. Had an entry, but we're further down than this now. Had an entry of up here near the D point of 1.77272, and then a take profit one of 1.75564. Not too far off our first take profit. A second take profit of 1.74681, and then most people will go for take profit 2 and not down as far as take profit 3, but I'll write that down anyway, 1.73264. So if you look at that back on here, and we'll just mark some of those so you can see the difference. So I'll just use a horizontal ray. So had an entry quite far up, so I'm going to do, they had take profit of 1.75564. So that's up here, it's past that now, 55, right up there. So it's passing that one. So it's coming down to the take profit 2 according to the scanner, which is 74681. 74 right down here then on the hourly there. So that was our, according to that, I'll just put that on here, text. So that's scanner, take profit, can't remember which one it was, 74, take profit 2, 2 was 1.74681. Okay. So we're somewhere in the middle at the moment. 75564, right up here. So we've already passed that one. So the area I'm looking at is somewhere in between, because I prefer capital markets stabilized before economies. Good for stocks, bad for dollar. Quite like FX streets. So that's what we're looking for at the moment. And then take profit 3. I'll just clone that, and we'll take that down to 1.732. Oh, it's right down here. Long way down, right at the bottom of that. 3264. Settings. 73264. So we haven't got any new scans today to do a 25 to life. That's your take profit 3 here. And I see oil is down at something like $13 a barrel, which affects the Canadian dollar a lot. So whether that will affect this now reversing, in other words, Great British Pound strengthening against the Canadian dollar, I don't know. That may well happen, because I've just seen that announcement flash up on FX streets as well. See if I can show you. And the dollar, the Canadian dollar, is strongly aligned to the price of oil, WTI, West Texas. When you see WTI, that means the oil that they measure. There we are. WTI melting down to the lowest since 1999, and that will affect the Canadian dollar. Big picture, but saying it's bearish at the moment. So I quite like FX streets for reading about macroeconomics. So we'll leave our alert there. We'll see how we get on GBPCAD. So that's one for the watch list at the moment. And now we'll look at Euro USD. Here, I missed that because I was doing something else. So you can see I had the alerts. These are extensions here to a scan that I had. So they're like Bollinger Bands that you'll have on the BYOB system that we use. And they usually ping price back into the scan. So this was a scan that I had from here that I'm using. And the reason I can use these older scans, they've now disappeared off the Harmonic Scanner, is because I've drawn them on here, and I've drawn pitchforks on. There's that smaller scan sitting in this bigger downward scan. And normally the new scan will take precedence. So I think what I might do now actually is hide that and switch this one on, which I can see I've hidden there. That should bring it back up. That's this big scan here. So because of everything that's going on in Europe anyway, that is C to D 400. So you've got 100 pips between each leg of the pitchfork, which is several times bigger than a normal scan. And you can see price has, let's come to the 15 minutes. I can show you a bit more clearly. So now I've decided to switch back to this most recent bigger scan. So there it is, respecting that extension there. And we've got this new one that which is on the M15, which will be a smaller one. So there's your nice break and a retest exactly off that D point. So it's, I don't know why sometimes quarters theory doesn't come on my 1 minute, or it seems to take a while to load. That's the 5 minute, which I don't normally go on. Come out of that. I don't want that one. So here it is. So that's why I switched on that by scan, because it came up, it bounced up out of this older scan here. There it is. So nice break and a retest there. Followed the 62 down all the way to the next pitchforks. That's 100 pips there. Cross. Oh, quarters theory is not coming on again. Should do. Try and switch it on and off. Might just pop up in a minute. And back up, so you could follow this all the way up and down. So it's respected the pitchfork there. And let's just find, you know, you can see it moving through. And now it's coming. Oh, it has come out of, still out of that one. So I do need to switch on my other one. Let me just hide that again. I thought it'd come back down into there now. Turn that down a bit. And there it is. So it is coming back into this uppermost one, but let's put on this new one, M15, and see how that's affecting it. Right, so we'll start the 8th. You're looking for highs and lows. It's always swing high, swing low when you're plotting a scan on. I'm going to take that alert off there. And this is what we're drawing here. So highs, low, high, low, high. And this is going to be a cell scan. Oh, sorry, wrong one. This is a bi scan, low, high, low, high, low. That's what low, high, low, high, low. That's what we're looking for. Euro USD M15 shark. And here it is, working its way through. So Euro USD M15, make sure your time frame's the same and that your time zone is the same down here as your local time zone. For me, it's Paris UTC +2. If you're in the UK, it's UTC +1. So we're looking for our low point here. And, oh, God, it's slightly different there. Oh no, 8.30, that's okay. I've written down 8.15. Euro USD. So just come over here to your scanner icon on the left-hand menu, this little star-shaped 5-point thing. Click on it once, because you're now holding 5 points on the mouse, and line it up with what you've written down. So the 8th of, and use the, I'll switch off that, but use the magnet because you want it to be onto the end of the wick each time. Now you're looking for the next high. So our next high is the 13th at 1500. That's a bit odd. Where's that? 13th. Maybe I've written that down wrong. I'm going to have to check that in a minute. That doesn't look right. I'll check that in a minute. Go down to the B, 13th at 16. And let me just come up here, getting a bit, this one's proving a bit difficult. I need to check it. C, 16th at 18, 15. I don't like what I've done at all on this, so I need to come back to the scanner, sorry. So X at 8th of the 4th, that definitely says 8:15 on there. 8:30, it's just the A at 13th of the 4th. Oh, that's why I've written it down wrong. Don't know how I did that. It should be 900. That's why. B, 13th of the 4th, that's 17:15. C at 22:45. And D, 16th of the 4th at 18:30. Try again. So X is fine. Can do this while we're waiting for the other alert to go off. Anyway, X I'm pretty sure is okay. Not quite. Should be down there. Lowest point. A, 13th at 9. That's where I went wrong. I thought that looked strange. So that should be up there. There we are. B is that point there, the next lowest one. You can see that there. You always want to pick the lowest. Might have to zoom in to get that one. There we are. And C, the 22:45 on the 14th. That's going to be that one anyway, there. And D, the 16th of the 4th at 18:30. Brilliant, okay. We'll just come back down. So once you've looked at that and you can see, just go back and see that it looks the right shape. If you are drawing these, that does look the right shape. And then I like to put the pitchfork on. So I come up to this 4-prong pitchfork at the top. I've got it favorited, so it's easy to find under my indicators. And then I just click on that. Again, you need the magnet on. If you do want to use pitchforks, I just go X to C to D so that it's on exactly. That doesn't look like it's on exactly. Sometimes it'll try and pick a wick on another candle if they're close by. They do need to be on accurately if you do want to use pitchforks. So that needs to go onto there. And then, because it's a new scan, I like to have the latest one in white, because I like to keep all my lines the same color. That's changed it to white. And then you can see it is now on. It's not on properly there. There we are. So once you've done that, you have to go back to the 1 minute. If it won't take, if it's older than 2 weeks, it won't let you go back on the 1 minute. You'll have to go to the 5 minute. This is the only fiddly bit because you need to make sure that they are on accurately. But once you've done it, then they are good forever, mostly good forever. So you can see, because we've got 60 candles on the 1 minute, that it looks on this lower time frame like it's slightly off. So you need to adjust it. And just come on up. You do get quicker as you do more of these. It's a bit slower because we're on Zoom. That one looks fine. Sometimes they're on exactly, and other times they are not. Just adjust that one slightly. As I say, I like to put the padlock on because I've had that before where I've moved things accidentally, and then what I do is lock it on afterwards. Oh. But this is the way you can work to a smaller stop loss usually, because you can get a very precise entry down on the lower time frame. Right, last one. I haven't heard GCAD go off yet. See what that's doing in a minute. And that that one is, I'll just adjust that slightly there. Okay. Right, brilliant. Okay, so back to the object box and just use the padlock here on the left just to lock them on, and then it's not going to slip. And back to the 15 minutes, which was what this one was drawn on from on the harmonic scanner. And let's see what it's looking like. So at the moment, we've had a break and a retest off the D point. We've had it respect that pitchfork there, come up and reject off quarter theory. So it is working its way up. If we look more closely on the 1 minute, then we've got, now let's see how much it's rejected that pitchfork. 3 pips. It's not quite a touch there, a break, not quite a break and a retest of the pitchfork, because I like it, if it's like 1.5, even 2 pips, because it's $6.6 trillion a day market, I'll consider that a touch, but that isn't quite a touch. Now on this one, we've got how many pips between each pitchfork? 50. And normally on a minimum of an 80 pip scan, I'll be looking for 20. So it is a bigger scan. So it hasn't done a pitchfork touch up here near to where we're looking at it. It has obviously done one here, which was back the other day, and that did a break and a retest by 10 pips. And then price has moved above, sucked along the 62 and rejected off this pitchfork, come down to retest the 15 minute, back up to the pitchfork, back down to retest the 15, and then it's come back down, gone for the sell, back down to quarter theory there, but it hasn't made it back down to the pitchfork. So it's come back up off the quarter theory, rejected off that, and now it's crossed above but crossed below. So and now it's rejected 3 times again off the pitchfork here. So it looks like the 62 wants to come and come back up here, but it's not really a trade for me, because I like to get in when it's like somewhere around about here. And go for the 20 and then move it up. So I think what I'm going to do on this one, because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere now, it's taken off too far. It's come off that pitchfork now, quarter theory by 17, 20 pips, because that would have given me the 20 pips there. I would have had the two barriers covering me between price and stop loss. So I'm going to put my alert at the next one up, which is here. And then keep an eye on it to get over this price trap, because I wouldn't want to enter until it's come beyond the, oh, is there some chat? Hang on, let me just look at the chat. If anyone's got any questions. Chat. Oh, hi everyone. Okay, thanks Tom, nice to see you. Just go back to share screen. I didn't want to miss any chat. So we've got 10 more minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions. I don't want to interrupt Sharon's session at 2 your time, and then Sarah Jane with tea tantrums and trading at 3, and Les on at 7, and we've got Brian Knight's excellent Q&A at 8 p.m. UK time. So make sure that's for new and advanced traders. So I'm going to put an alert on here, and I'll just extend that line. Just use settings, and here extend right line, and that takes it out forever. And I will have a look at that again when it crosses here. I don't want to get in here on a break and a retest of 10 pips, because there's 8 pips between the pitchfork and quarter theory is an aggressive line of support and resistance. This orange line, the 62 moving average, is a rolling line of support and resistance. And you can see once it crosses below, how many pips did it do from there down to there? There's your 20 pips once it's crossed down there. And it did here, it did the 10 pip break and retest here. So that would have been, you know, it's rejected off quarter theory. It's come below the 62, it's rejected off the pitchfork there. And then once it has actually crossed over, you've got a very firm indication that it will drop, because price will normally drop to the next level. So there's your 20 pips. If you wanted to be safe, that's the 3 confirmations: a pitchfork touch, a break and a retest by 10 pips, and a crossover of the 62 running below the 15-minute time frame one. And then three rejections off quarter theory, and the 62 now coming up above. But because it's moved far off these 2 points, I don't want to look at it myself until it comes up to this point. And then once it's done this, so it's what we've just looked at, but in the reverse, which is here, what it's done here, that sort of thing, and then rejection. So that's how I like to look at trades. So that's what I'll be looking for here. I don't know if I can get that to move across. May as well leave that on there. And let me just come off there, take that off, see if I can move that across. So that's more in line. So that's what I'm looking for on that trade. So I'll write that down as a watch list for us. And we'll have, so then you'd have your stop loss below those 2 points. So a stop loss of, but this is a precise entry on the 1 minute, remember, so you need to have bigger stop losses and adjust things if you're on a longer time frame. 1.09000, an entry off the break and retest at, sorry, that's the entry. The stop loss would be, say, 1.08890, something like that. 9690. do it on settings, might be easier. Right, 1.8900, 0.900, and then a take profit of 1.0920. Okay. But if you're on higher time frames, you will need to increase this because obviously it's going to swing more. I look at it like that, and I put on a horizontal line at the 10 pips here, and I put an alert on to say stop profit in, or I might bail out of the trade given what the market's doing at the moment with all the wicks. Okay, although technically price should want to move to different, the next level up or down. If it fails to reach the quarter theory, then it's saying it, didn't know I had that open twice. It will drop back down to the previous level. So that's Euro USD. Let's have a brief look back at GCAD here. See what it's doing when that's trading view glitching when it does that up there. So at the moment it's just working its way down. And it looks like the 62 wants to cross down. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And where's our quarters theory? So it's just dropped below quarter theory, so that's good. That's good news for us. So that's GCAD, and just want to see what the time is. I can't see.
Could I just ask one question, Sarah? It's
yeah,
Kathy.
Of course. Yeah,
very quickly, and I appreciate it's nearly time.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you just show us what your settings are for the pitchfork? Because I'm just trying to set mine up. I can't get it to look like yours.
Yeah. Right.
I've got 0.5 and 1, which I think you've recommended before.
Yeah.
But I can't get. Do you have like double lines at the ends?
Yeah, here are the settings.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Okay, so it's just the 0.5 and the 1, and then the extensions are the 1.618 and the 1.5. Now
1.618, 1.5, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to take a screenshot. And
I just have done, yeah.
And then you can see here, I set the 0.5 at dotted lines. That's a dotted line, and the others are all solid lines. And the reason for that is that when you are trying to sort of think about where you are, then we only take, using this system, we only take a trade in the direction of the scan until it hits the medium, which is the solid line. So we set the 0.5s at dotted, so that if price is going through them, you can't quite remember where you are. You're not going to get confused because you've got a dotted line either side of the median line. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
That's why we do it like that. So
yeah,
just once more, that's why it looks like that with the dotted lines on the 0.5.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Is there anything else? No, we're all well out of time, so I'm going to stop share and stop recording. If anyone's got any more questions, then very happy to answer any.